Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. This is the card that I've been making today. It is a pop-up card. Very, very easy to do. Stay with me and I'll show you how I did it. Here are the things that I'm using for my card today. The base is a piece of Emerald Envy, and I've cut it to 9 inches by 4, scored and folded at 4.5, so it's a slightly smaller card than normal today. I've got 3 pieces of Naturally Eclectic DSP. I've cut 2 in this pattern and 1 in this pattern, and they're all the same size. They're 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. I've got some scrap pieces of Early Espresso and Soft Sky, and also I have a piece of crumb cake. Couldn't think what it was called for a minute. I've also cut a strip of Emerald Envy, and this is going to make the pop-up work. So this is 3/4 inch by 3 3/4, and I've scored and folded it at every 1/4 inch so that I create that shape. I'm trying to make a little box shape. Alright, so it looks like that. Yep. I'm using the Coffee Cafe stamps and the thinlets that coordinate. I can't think what they're called for a moment. Just look that up. Coffee cups. So yeah, that was difficult to remember. I'm using Early Espresso ink and the Emerald Envy crinkled seam binding ribbon. And there are some other bits and pieces that I'm going to be using. I have Versamark ink, clear embossing powder, a little piece of the double-sided adhesive sheet, and some Dazzling Diamonds glitter. I'm going to begin by doing some stamping in the Early Espresso ink, and I'm going to start off by inking up the message which says happiness is a cup of coffee shared with a friend. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this way so that I can see what I'm doing a little bit better, and I'm just going to press down onto my crumb cake card. Silicone mat is underneath. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the ink to transfer, and yeah, that's done that quite nicely. Now if you can see, it looks as though it's missed some pieces here and there, but I kind of think that's supposed to happen, so I'm going to say I'm happy with that. And now I'm going to take the one that is just the outline of the cup, and I'm going to come over the top of this because I can see where I've already stamped, and I'm going to press down and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. Okay, and that has stamped beautifully. So while I've still got the crumb cake and the Early Espresso out, I'm going to stamp up a couple of the little sugar lumps, and I'm also going to stamp the word hi. Put that over there. Okay, and I think that is all of my stamping. I am going to stamp another one of the cup outlines, but you don't need to see that. And I'm going to go over to the Big Shot, and I'm going to do some cutting out. I'm going to cut my cup shape up with that die. I'm going to cut out the word hi with that die. That's not going to be cut out at all, but I'm also going to cut out that in Early Espresso. I'm going to do that twice. That is going to be in the Soft Sky, and these little coffee beans are also going to be in the Early Espresso. Now I want to stamp and clear emboss these so that they look like shiny coffee beans. There's 2 ways of doing it. You can either stamp first and then try and cut them out. I found by experimentation it was easier to do it the other way around, so that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take all of these over to the big shot, and I'm going to be back in a few minutes. So here I am back from the big shot. Now I've gone ahead and started layering up this cup already. I'm just going to do the same with this one. I'm just going to put the early espresso lid onto my coffee cup. I don't want to put that on the front of it because I don't want to cover up the message. Alright, so one of these is going to go on the inside of the card, and one is going to go on the outside. Okay, let's just pop that straight. Yeah, so I'm going to leave that on one side to set. The little high icon I've punched out, die cut out actually, with the oval. I'm going to pop that on with a single dimensional. And so that's all ready to be added to my card. And I stamped, well actually I die cut out first 3 of the coffee bean shapes and in early espresso, and then afterwards I came in with this little die, inked it up with Versamark, dopped it down onto the pre-cut shape, sprinkled on some clear embossing powder, and heated it up till I got some nice shiny coffee beans. Okay, and I've got glue on my mat, which I don't want to have, so I'll clear that away. So I'm going to put these aside as well until I'm ready to start doing some assembly. Now there is one other component that I want for my card, and that is some sugar lumps, and I want them to be nice and sparkly. Now I've used crumb cake because there's one other component that I want on my card, and I want some sugar lumps, and I want brown sugar lumps, so I've stamped onto my crumb cake card. I want them to be nice and sparkly, so I've got a piece here of my my double-sided adhesive sheet, and I've cut it so that it's big enough to cover the sugar lumps and a bit more, and I'm going to give it a real good rub down because I want the adhesive to stick very, very well. Sorry if this is making the tripod have a bit of a mood. Could use my bone folder, but it's fallen to the bottom of my bag somewhere. Okay, so now I'm going to cut around the outside of the sticky shape. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is if I do it this way, I don't get my don't get the blades of my scissors all gunked up. Now I don't know how well you can see, but I can actually see the shape of the sugar lumps through the backing sheet on the double-sided adhesive. So I am going to go ahead and actually cut them out. Now if I couldn't see what I was cutting out, what I would do is I would trim it oversize, and then once I put the glitter on, which is going to be the next step after that, then I would trim away any bits that I didn't want. And I haven't got terribly close there, so just trim those bits in. But I'm not sure how well you can see, but I can see those outlines quite clearly through the backing paper. Okay. So the next step is a little bit of glitter. Get a tidy tray here. So peeling off the backing. Which is always fiddly. Come on, there you go. And don't want you to go that way. Sticky side up. And actually this is small enough that rather than pouring the glitter over, I can just drop it into the pot once it lets go of my finger. That is. Just reaching for my tweezers here. There we go. We have nice, shiny sugar lumps. Next I want to work on the card itself. So I've got my 2 pieces of pattern paper, my DSP here, and I want the side with the spots up. And just going to put that onto the inside of my card. And same thing for this one. I'm using liquid adhesive because I'm going to be sticking a pop-up mechanism onto this in a few minutes, and therefore I want it to be well stuck down to the underlying surface, because what I don't want is for the adhesive to give way with the pop-up mechanism opening and closing, and the whole thing to fall apart. That would not be good at all. So therefore I'm going for the liquid adhesive. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that down, because somehow that's just a little bit too long. My paper just a fraction too long here, and I'm going to put the pop-up mechanism together. And I'm going to use tear and tape for this. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it to itself to create a hollow cube. Well, I suppose I should say a hollow cuboid, because it probably isn't exactly a cube. So, okay. So I pop that up. Alright, now I'm going to put adhesive tape on these 2 sides and this side, but I'm not going to put any tape on that side. Actually, I'm going to put those. I want it to be flat. Okay. So tape on these 2 pieces. Two, and on which way shall I have it? That way. And on this piece. Right, so that is the piece that the cup is going to stick to, and these 2 pieces, or this one long, these 2 pieces are going to be what holds the pop-up mechanism into the card. So I'm going to start off by taking away part of the tape. I always say tape, I mean the tape backing. Okay, so you guys know what I mean, right? And I want that to lie down flat. So I'm kind of centering it, and I'm putting it up against the fold of the card. Yeah? I want that to lie just like that. So now if I take away those 2 pieces and close up the card, when I open it, my little pop-up square pops up, and I can still fold it, I can still lay it flat. Right, so now I'm going to need to decide whether I'm going to have that piece on the inside or this piece, and I think I'm going to put this on the inside, and this is going to be on the outside because it's got a dimensional piece, and I've just thrown it across the room, and I'm going to have to go and retrieve it in a second. Okay. So again, I'm centering this so that the bottom of my coffee cup is level with the bottom of my pop-up piece. And now I can close the card, and when I open it, my coffee cup pops up. So all I've got to do now is to do the front of the card, and I'm trying to decide which side of this paper I like best. I'm going to have a bit of my Emerald Envy ribbon going on there, and that popping along there, and some sugar lumps and some coffee beans. Do I like that, or do I prefer it with the other way around? And you know what, I think I'm going to go with this side uppermost. So, because I was dithering a bit about using the other side, because they're both gorgeous. And but this is just a little bit too busy once I've added all of the other stuff in. So I'm going to stick it down quick before I have a bad case of actually I should have gone the other ways with it. Okay, so length of my crinkled seam binding ribbon, that is big enough to go all the way around my card, and with a bit left over. And again, I've got the wrong scissors. I've got my paper cutting scissors, not my ribbon cutting scissors. And I'm just gonna tie a knot off to one side. Okay. And again, just trim that to size. Those tails are too long. Now, I kind of want this showing on the inside as well, because it sort of fills in that that bit of space at the top of the card there. So let's put it where I want it to be, and start putting things down. Right, now I want to make sure that that stays put. So glue dots, glue dots, glue dots, glue dots. Okay, I just want it to kind of stay put. And put a glue dot under that knot there. Yeah, and I am going to come back with my good scissors and trim these ends up because they're a little bit ragged. All right. So all I have to do now is to put my elements down where I want them, and I think that looks about right for my coffee cup. And let's add some sugar lumps and some coffee beans. So let's add some sugar lumps down by there. And some coffee beans. Where else should we have coffee beans? Turn those slightly so that they actually are coffee beans. Let's turn those so that they're coming kind of the other way. How's that doing? Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. See, now I've changed my mind and I wish I'd gone with the other paper, but never mind. You know what? We can make it work. And on the inside, we'll have some more coffee beans. And some sugar lumps. Let's turn around that way. And there you go. So here it is, the finished card. I did go back with my sharp scissors and trim the ends of my my ribbon there so that they're now nice and neat. And this bit here was fading into the background a little bit too much for me, so I pulled the oval off the front and cut another piece in the soft sky, and I just ran around the edge of it with my Early Espresso Stampin' Right marker just to define it a little bit, and then stuck it down and put the oval back on top of it. So if I open it up to show you, there inside is my pop-up message. And I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if so, then I'd really love it if you would hit that like button underneath the video here. It really helps me, and if you really liked it, then why not subscribe to my channel? I shall be posting more videos very, very soon. But for now, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.